Yo, what's going on, everybody? Andy's Crypto Talk, we're here live. Let me just share the stream out to some peeps. Get this started. All right. All right. Alrighty, doody do. Let's see. Just gotta get the X shared. Oh, I guess this is really the one I should be sharing on here. There we go. Okay, so what's going on, everybody? Non-financial advice. As always, this is Andy's Crypto Talk. We are talking about the crypto markets today, and I do want to do just kind of an overview of the markets. Daniel G. Mellon. Yeah, sorry, bro. I got you to message the mod there, so hopefully you can get back in. Worst case, just create another account. It's not a big deal. Just create, like I've done that before, create another TG, join the community, and just don't say much, and just because you're just wanting to read the chat, right? So don't say much. Anyways, guys, links in the description. Check out all of the sponsors, but most of all, you know, we are working with MEXC recently, so if you want to join up with MEXC, they do have leverage, spot, all that good stuff. And let's talk about the markets today, because they are getting pretty crazy. Hey Red, how's it going? So one thing I'll say is, like, if you guys know Jakey, if you guys seen the Jakey merch he's wearing on stream now, you know, of course, reposted by the man, the myth, the legend, Degen. We found out his name yesterday, Dan. Degen Danny. You can check out GG. I don't know if oh. Yeah, there's GG. So GG actually had where is it? There it is. So on this meme coin trading stream, we can see there is the man behind Citadail sitting with GG. They had a nice chat yesterday. Check it out here if you haven't. It's worth checking out. There was a couple updates as well. I didn't want to bring you guys on. I didn't end up managing to show you guys these updates yesterday. So this was Tony from Griffain, who supports us, talking to Mario Naufal, which he's got a huge following on X, right? Look at this guy. Like, this guy's got 2 million followers, right? And he was he was interviewing our guy Griffain, Tony P. It's so, like, he posts so much every day. It'll take me forever to find it, so I'm not going to go doing that. But you can go definitely check on his page. Otherwise, you guys can just check out this little clip that I have here. Let's pause this real quick and just play this clip for y'all.
So are we at 100%? No. Will we get to 100%? Yes. Some of the case studies, or at least some of the customer stories that we're hearing, I think give us really, really good conviction around what we're building. And so one of the main ones that I like to talk about is Citadail. Citadail is an AI-driven hedge fund that uses Griffain as its quant, so it gives it autonomy over trading decisions. They also have a DAOs.fund. So what they do is they actually use the founder's personalized agent as a way to source information for the trading decisions. So when it comes to like trade, or at least when it comes to DeFi, that's one of the customer stories that I've loved to talk about. They have, I think, $500,000 of assets under management that have been traded through Griffain. That's number one.
So that's pretty dope. You know, you can see that he is actively shilling. We still have people coming into the community and asking us how we're related, if we're related, all that sort of stuff. But of course we are. Let's pull up the Citadail chart for y'all right here real quick. And we can see that we've been pushing up. I drew a lot of these lines last night, just as I was doing kind of micro TA on this. But you can see, yeah, we were pushing back from yesterday down back to about the 21 mil mark, right on top of this box range that I have drawn out here, and very close to this trend line on the bottom, which can be redrawn a little bit right now. And I think that's kind of the way that we continue this trend up until we break through this as well, and then we'll see some really crazy price action for sure. But currently we are seeing this, you know, after this quick leg up it had this morning, making another new like a recent all-time high for this range that we've been in since we bottomed out at about 12 mil. So yeah, this range that's getting created, you know, I look for it to break out, kind of this sort of breakout from around the 29.5 range. So I think this is maybe the last sort of flag. We're doing like a three sort of peak, and then it's gonna send. So you can see it kind of like, that's what I believe that's what we have in store for us here next on Citadail. You know, if we look out a little bit further, zoom out on the 4-hour chart, you can see this inverted head and shoulders that was created. You know, a little messier for sure on the right shoulder, but that having been said, like we're really in a good place at this point. As long as, you know, we overcome this 30, you know, we can see on a 4-hour it deviated and now it's coming back in. We could see it come back down and bounce, even maybe as low as, I don't think it'll go quite that low though. There's too much bullishness in the market, and we'll talk about that and the rest of crypto right now, because we did have some major news come out this morning. Let's see if it's anywhere on my timeline. Let's see if I can search it. Actually, let's just scroll a little bit, because I bet you someone. Oh yeah, Griffain, Citadail, and Forbes. That's crazy, right? Griffain new hedge fund on Forbes. Right here. There we go. So Donald Trump, this was breaking news from this morning, receptive to the idea of creating American first strategic reserve that would prioritize coins founded in the USA, such as Solana and XRP. And then what happens when that news breaks, right? Like, we saw this craziness in the Solana US pricing. And we can see that, like, you know, on a 4-hour time frame. That was 4 a.m. yesterday. And then, yeah, right around here. So let's do it on a 1 hour. So you can see this is basically when the news came out. You know, around 6 a.m. Eastern time. And it just rocketed ever since. A 6% candle in 1 hour. So of course we're seeing SOL dominance kick up heavily. This is really, again, I was saying this is kind of the second bounce. We're going to create a W, and that's exactly what we're doing. You know, SOL BTC, this is making its way back up now finally. SOL ETH is just insane. Like, look at that. So this kind of, like, I think this is delineating the line of, like, okay, altcoin season's starting, Solana is stronger, you know, XRP, of course, same sort of story, is going to be very strong, maybe even stronger than Solana at this current moment. When, you know, whether we see this slow down or not is tough to say, but we did have this kind of charted out that once this broke out that we were going to see some real rocket ship, especially over this $2.76, and you can see it's just speeding up, right? So XRP, Solana just speeding up at this point. You know, Solana looks like it has more catch up to do to XRP because it's got this trend that it's just starting to break through. So Solana over 260 is where we're going to see what's happening to XRP happen. That's, I think, in part to do with this. You know, we talked about the altcoin season index yesterday. I'll just refresh the page to make sure. So yeah, I mean, you can see that W forming here too. That's right. Inverted head and shoulders. There's a bottom. There's a lower bottom. There's a higher bottom. Right. So this signifies a turnaround. It's a high, a low, a higher high. That's another sort of signal that it's turning around. So paying attention to altcoins here, as we can see, a lot of the AI has moved up significantly. Here's some lines I kind of drew on the chart for Griffain, but it's more like we look at it more on like the hourly structure. Now it's doing something like this actually, so it's kind of, it's formed a different sort of range up in here. This was previous all-time high, so it's just bouncing upon previous all-time highs. And we have this, it's just like a channel forming, right? So it's a really bullish bull flag, I would say, because it's not going deep, it's staying sideways. So I think once we see this breakout, you know, you could see a big move. This could be the push to 1 billion for Griffain. I think that's easy because of the mind share of something like this. Actually, let's bring up cookie.fun and just have a quick look. Cookie.fun, just for any of you guys into the AI ecosystem. Whoa. It's being spammed right now for sure. This can give you an idea of mindshare. If you don't have access to Kaido, then you can just use cookie.fun, and you can see here AIXBT, highest mindshare. It's because it's tweeting and it's going crazy on X, right? So that's the big thing that we see here, that with this AI stuff, if it has access to X, that's going to benefit it greatly, right? Like, I think this wrecked one has really made a name for itself for the same reason. So Virtual's doing very good as well. We saw that they were going to allocate a bunch of the token that they've gotten into all the AIs, and I think it got kind of confusing. I think people got confused with, like, they're going to sell the token, but I think they've been selling the token throughout this whole time, creating a reserve so that they could use that reserve to buy back AI tokens in their ecosystem. So yeah, I mean, that's a long-winded one, but I think Virtuals, we want to see Virtuals win. If we want to see Griffain, if we want to see Citadail all win, then we're happy for any of these tokens doing insane stuff, because they're bringing more attention to us as we are actually the one. Citadail we look at is Def AI, and same with Griffain is Def AI, right? So let's pull up this. So we can see that in Def AI, the top of mind share is Griffain, and that's why it's so important, because people will look for like DeFi in AI, and DeFi was like, you know, it became like a lot of big money came in to kind of slosh around and make money with their money. So this is where we see a lot of the finance people. This is where we see a lot of the hedge funds, VCs. Hedge fund, wink wink, right? Like Citadail, the first AI hedge fund that's built using Griffain, right? Like people don't, I think, realize what they hold with Griffain. For a new hedge fund, this is a crazy opportunity, right? Really crazy opportunity. As soon as we see this volume break out, I think that's what we're waiting for, is like another kind of rise and spike up in volume. I thought this is when it was starting right here, but it's made, you know, we're just retesting. That's what I would say right now, is we're retesting this zone. We had it as resistance, now we're creating it as support. So we're going to retest this a little bit, maybe move sideways to here. We can stay at the same price and just move sideways to here, which is 2 days away, and then rock it up. And I think, you know, swing up into this sort of 45 mil to 55 mil sort of area right here. This is kind of where we're going to swing into and play around, but it's going to do one of these. In my assessment, I believe it's going to do one of these. So it's going to create that beautiful ascending triangle, ascending wedge pattern that we normally see. It's then going to push up within this range at some point. The only thing that I'm actually concerned about anymore is my range too small, and did I not grab the higher ones? Because this thing could actually, like, because it's spent so much time coiling up in this range right here, it took a lot of time for it to coil up here. With the amount of buy pressure and things that I think we see, this might be a little too low. So I did want to put the fib extension on this. Actually, I was thinking of this last time, that I might want to put the fib extension on here. So from this swing, that's kind of what we're going to look at, because we're just looking at this level by level on a fib term. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some lines on here. So there is the chance that we see so much strength in the market that it extends the move to these higher regions. Let's get rid of that one. So these higher regions, that's kind of like our extension upwards, right? So and I would say that's more likely, is that this is kind of what we look at for the next play. You always want to zoom out on your chart, and you know, just because you're looking at the chart like this does not mean the ceiling stops here, you know, 54 to 58. There's no way. Your ceiling doesn't possibly stop there. Let's get rid of that one actually. Because with a token like this, you have to kind of zoom out. The amount of volume that could come in here, you can see that, right? Like when we were back here, when we were back in this range here, You know, that was the top of your chart. You had to zoom out to even see where we're at right now, let alone where we're going. Right? So you had to zoom out, and eventually this becomes kind of like this. This becomes the pre-hundreds of mil zone. Eventually it's going to look like this. See, like I've got my lines up here. That's a weird line. Let's just leave it though. Who knows? We could follow the trajectory to get right to there. Because it could do something like what Griffain is doing. At some point here, I believe it does exactly what we see here. And this is where we're at now. You know, in this kind of like, looks like nothing after you zoom out the chart and just see the stair stepping. This one, like I was saying, one bill, but that's just the next leg. This is like, inevitably, this is like a, you know, 5 to 10 bill token, easy. Like that's kind of our, I would say, that sort of range within that time frame. Within that time frame. Now it could zigzag around and take, you know, until April to do that. It could just go straight up there and then make some big corrections and come back. Nice. Happy for you to get back in that TG. And no worries, we'll chat later. And if you think that Griffain pulls this off in the next few months, and you're not looking at something like Citadail or Citadail HF, right? We haven't talked about this one. I think this is a better risk to reward. But again, I always recommend doing some in each. And I would do like 50-50. So put 50% in here and 50% in here. And what that helps you do, I said this way back, right? Like I said this way back here. Way back around here, I was like, you know, Citadail HF launched. What do? You put some in both. Put 50-50. I was saying it like right here too. Put 50-50, right? And you could have made a big amount, 4 to 28. You would have had like, you know, an 8x or 7x or whatever in that. And around the same time, I think Citadail HF was down here. Oh, that's the right when it launched. So I did call it when it launched. It pumped up. You know, you could have bought it around here, and you would have made a pretty good return on that to its all-time highs. But it's right back to where I first shilled it. So this is a good shill right now, I think, because we're gonna see, I think, the same thing happen that happened right here. So at first, when this pumped and people were like, wow, it's just retracing it all, I bet if we look at it like this, it'll be a little bit better. Mind you, like it pumped from a lower level to a higher level and retraced not the entire thing, but then it did it again where it pumped, you know, huge, from 1.5 to 5.4, so like a 3x, and it retraced like most of it back down to 2 mil. And then again recently, you know, it pumped up from 2 mil to like 10 mil, so like a 5x, and it's just been retracing that whole thing. At a point here, this is going to start running just like it did here, just like it did here, just like it did here. And people are going to get priced out very quickly. And then mind you, it can retrace, like as you can see, it can retrace a large amount. But I think this is similar to what we see in a lot of tokens, where the first few weeks there are going to be excess sellers instead of buyers, because they got in at a very, very low price. You know, myself even got in within these first candles. So I think the first candle I was in. Yeah, I was in the first hour, right? So anybody in this first hour, first 2 hours, and this is public, like anybody had access to this. People that got this pre-sale got in at 100K. So that's another factor to this one, is we're seeing pre-salers dumping for sure. I'm sure there's people that, you know, got allocations and they don't know what they're holding. They don't realize that this is attached to Griffain, which has 3.5% mind share, the highest mind share on Def AI. Okay, so that kind of the long wind rant of that one. But yeah, keeping an eye on Solana, keeping an eye on XRP. All of these things are going to be moving really nice. And of course, keeping an eye on BTC because it's kind of guiding the race. So I'll quickly cover BTC before I tune out for today. But yeah, we can see here BTC making this big W structure we talked about. It hit this resistance and it kind of swung back down to 97. But we're making a move right back up to the upside right here. Just in the past sort of hour or two, sort of 3 hours, you know, we did dip down significantly and then right back up. So volatility is going to happen, but we look to just break this 100K again with some conviction, and then we'll move up into this previous all-time high range around 108, and then move up from there significantly. I think to 120 is kind of the next sort of swing up. But yeah, 110, 120, 130, those should come fairly quickly, especially if we do send out of this. If we shoot out of this upward trend line, it's going to continue on up very, very significantly, very fast. And it's not going to give people a chance to get in. So just keep an eye on that. If you are playing leverage and you do decide to short, it's a dangerous time right now to be shorting. But anyways, guys, that's all I'm gonna talk about for this one. Check out Breakout. I've got a link in the description if you want to trade like more money than you have. Breakout's the one I would use. You can actually trade AI16Z and some of these AI tokens. You can trade XRP. You can trade hundreds of different coins, and it's super easy. You get the funded one-step account. You know, you can get $5,000 for as low as $55 and up to $100,000 for $800. You know, you can trade with that. You just have to do one step goal is $500 or 10%, right? So 10,000 on the 100,000 account. Your max daily loss is 4%, and your max drawdowns $300 on the lowest, 6,000 on the highest. It does have up to 5.5 to 1 leverage on things like BTC and Ethereum, and less leverage on altcoins, as you can see here. But either way, guys, check out the links, and we'll catch you in the next video.